The Dharma is always available to us. Whenever you're walking, whatever you're doing, the Dharma, the truth, the ultimate truth, that nature, that Buddha nature, that truth is always available to us. When we're looking at a cherry tree, for example, we're looking at a cherry tree, we're looking at the flowers, cherry blossom. What do we know about it? Different perspectives from different people. You look at a cherry tree in the nursery, in Adnap, what you would say is, I would like to put that in my garden. How much does it cost? Oh, $150? Wow, it's too expensive. Maybe I should get it somewhere cheaper. Is it a good species? Can I do it? Are they going to include the price of transportation in it? You're talking about the monetary value of it, whether it would enhance your house beauty. Your perspective is like that. The owner's perspective is like this. When can I sell off this cherry tree? How much am I going to get from it? Should I get more of it? Would the customers like it? Would there be demand for it? There's another perspective from the owner. But that's not the ultimate truth of it. We're revolving around the ultimate truth. When a philosopher looks at a cherry tree, for example, we look at a cherry tree this morning. We're meditating in there, we're listening to the birds singing, and we suddenly realize, did I miss all this out? How come it sounds so natural? How come it sounds so tranquil? How come there's serenity in it? So you look at the flowers and you say, what a beautiful cherry tree there, with all the petals on the floor, on the ground. A cherry blossom has the significance and the meaning of the 6 paramitas, The 6 paramitas of bodhisattvas, there's 6 altogether. When a Buddhist philosopher looks at a cherry tree, he's thinking of the 6 parameters. The truth arrives from a cherry tree. A cherry tree has observed its precepts, has observed its morality standard. A tree is always confining to its own soil. Except for creeping plants, they're always obeying the 4 seasons. Spring comes up, flower blossom. Autumn, it wither and go back to the soil. Wintertime is hidden. In the springtime, it blossoms out again. It's always obeying the nature, the cycle of the nature. It's conforming to its own morality standard, its own vinaya, its own precepts. It never overlaps to the other position. It never occupies other territories. It's never intruding into others' properties. It's always confining to its own world, conforming to his own morality standard. So he's observing this, one of the 6 parameters, obeying the Vinaya, observing his own morality standard, always going his way within the confines of his precepts and of his conduct. Are we humans doing the same thing? If we are doing the same thing all the time, there wouldn't be wars, there wouldn't be conflicts, there wouldn't be so many news appear in the newspapers, crimes, egoism, violence, murder, broken homes, committing suicide, depression, anxiety, fear, disappointment. How come all these things? The cherry tree is within its confine, doing a perfect job within its confine. That's the truth of it. The second is The cherry tree is observing its precept of endurances and patience and perseverance. How? When the winter comes, when the autumn comes, it sheds its flowers off, go back to the soil. It stands the coldness of the winter, the snow, the attacks of insects. It's enduring everything, waiting for that final moment to blossom itself. It's a very high level of endurance. So it's 6 parameters number 2, endurances and patience. How about giving? Generosity, giving out. Springtime has come. May, April, the buds come out, cherry buds come out. And then sometime in May, mid-May, all the cherries blossom, the flowers blossom. It renders this beauty to the whole world without reservation. Beautify the whole nature. Give out fragrance. Glorify spring. It's giving, giving, giving. It's giving nature to nature. It's giving nature to humans. Isn't it giving? A cherry tree has given all its might, all its glamour, all its fragrance. That's giving. And we're only receiving. We admire the cherry blossom. It gives me the admiration. Did I appreciate it though? We take it for granted. That's a cherry tree that's beautiful. We take it for granted. We're receiving. We don't know that the cherry tree is giving. So a cherry tree has observed is one of the 6 parameters of giving, giving, giving. Not only does a cherry tree give to the world, to humans, to everybody who admires it, to nature, it's also giving to its younger generation. How? When it sheds its petals, all the flowers go back to the soil. The flowers fall onto the ground. In the autumn time, in the summertime, even in the winter time, all these nutritions go back to the soil. Every petal nourishes its soil for the younger generation. It is the most considerate parents, caring for its younger generation, its future budding. It dies. The flower disappears. No more flowers. But it does not mean that the spirit dies. The spirit is all hidden right underneath the soil. When the spring comes, the energies go back to the tree, and the tree buds. So every petal, every fallen petal, nourishes for its own younger generation. What do we humans do? We destroy. Do we care? We pollute. Are we not even better than a cherry tree in certain respect? A cherry tree looks after its younger generation, its posterity. So how about meditation? Is a cherry tree meditating? Does a cherry tree go into samadhi? A cherry tree works very quietly in solitude, with certainty, with serenity. It is beautiful, colorful, fragrant, but it never exaggerates itself. It is for sure, for certain, like a monk meditating there. It does not matter what disturbances, the cherry tree accepts it. It doesn't affect it. The worms attack it. Somehow they get over it. They're always in samadhi. They're always in meditation. They won't get mad. They won't get violent. They won't curse. They won't kill. They won't steal. It is always in samadhi. So, a cherry tree has Dharma in it. A cherry tree contains all the ultimate truth. And the cherry tree is conveying this to us. Do we know about it? Or we just look at the price tag? How much we make from the price? How much we pay? Would it enhance the beauty of my house so that my guests would enjoy the glamour of my house? So that I might satisfy my ego about the beauty of my house? If nobody come to my house, why do I care about this cherry tree? The cherry tree is for people to appreciate. So, what does that mean? Everything is karma. Every nature, every molecule, every atom. Everything is the Buddha nature. It's just you haven't got it. We haven't got it. We don't know. When the Buddha look at nature, every molecule is ultimate truth. It conveys the ultimate truth. But only the intelligent can see it. Only people with insight can see it. So, when we're talking about right mindfulness, the Buddha says, the Dharma, the ultimate truth, is always available to us. It's in every chair, every grain, everything. And that the place where this ultimate truth is realized, is to be realized, is within ourselves, not in a remote place. How do we realize this ultimate truth? Oh, we realize it from a library. There's got a lot of books in the library. In chapters, there's a lot of books about Buddhism, about meditation. I'll go and search and dig for it. I read all the books and I know everything about Buddhism. How about the DVDs? I listen to masters. How about a visit to the Himalayas? I visited some of the masters hiding in those caves, and they will give me magic. They will give me hints that would work out magic. You're not realizing this within you, the experiences of your own life. You try to look for it always outside of you. And the Buddha said, that's not the place. Certainly, we can learn from masters, but the most important that we have to know is the truth must be found within us, within our own experiences, not far out. It is not enough merely to accept the Dharma as a faith, to learn it by reading, by watching DVD, listening to CDs, or to think about it through logic, through deductions and inferences. It has to be known by insight of your own, within you. What is this insight? What brings our mind into focus and makes it accessible to insight is a mental faculty. It is called sati in the Pali language. Sati. Sati is usually translated as mindfulness. In the practice of right mindfulness, the mind is trained to remain in the present moment. The present moment, which is open, quiet, and alert. Not the past, not the future. All judgments, all interpretations have to be suspended. If they occur, if a judgment comes up to your mind when you're meditating, a judgment, a discrimination, just know them, register them, and let them go. Let them pass away. Let them come, let them go. Oh, here comes the cloud of anxiety. Here comes the cloud of fear. Here comes the cloud of depression. Oh, let it come. I register it. I know it comes. It overwhelms me, but okay, I let it go. I won't let it attach to me. I just let it pass. That's mindfulness. If you let the cloud stick to you, to your ego, that's not mindfulness. That's suffering. That's torturing. Here comes the cloud of anxiety. I'm worrying. And it sticks to my ego. Oh, I cried. I feel sinful. I feel guilty. I feel sad. I feel sorrowful. You're not letting go of it. You're not being mindful. You are out of your mind. You're not mindful. But it's easy to say and to know, difficult to do. We all know that. So practicing is not just knowing, it's doing. There was once a scholar in the Tang Dynasty who asked a very high level, a Zen master, and he asked, Venerable Master, what is the ultimate truth? The Venerable Master said, the ultimate truth? Namo Amitofo. Namo Amitofo. And the scholar said, is it that simple? Namo Amitofo? And the Venerable monk said, yeah, it is so simple that a 3-year-old knows how to chant it. But it's so difficult that a 90-year-old cannot practice it. It's easy to say. It's very difficult to do. To practice mindfulness is thus a matter not so much of doing, but of undoing. It's not just doing. I control my mind. I'm in meditation. I'm crossing my leg. I'm watching my breath, sati, in and out, anapanasati. It's not so much of doing that, but of undoing. Undoing what? Not thinking, not associating, not planning, not imagining, not wishing, not labeling, not discriminating, not attaching to the past, not attaching to the future. Undoing that, not worrying. Because all these are mental interferences, mental afflictions. Mindfulness undoes the knots and tangles of these mental afflictions by simply noting them and letting them pass away. Watching each of these delusion comes up, as they arise, as they stand, as they pass away, and then just let them pass away. In the watching, there is no attachment whatsoever. So mindfulness anchors the mind securely in the present. So it does not float away. It does not flow away into the past and future with memories, regrets, fears, hopes, planning, disappointment, greediness, hatred, jealousy, you name it. So, the present moment. That's why when we're out there in the woods, in the garden, we say, mind your present moment. The present moment is important. Don't hang on to the past. When an anxiety comes, because you suffer out of experiences of certain thing, and that thing gives you anxiety. This anxiety add together will give you an anxiety that you cannot control, because you hang on to the past. You relate your present experiences with your past experiences, which is painful, which creates anxiety, which creates depression. You hang on to the past. You're not free. We are not free. We hang on too much to the past. We're not free. We plan on too much to the future. We're not free. We just appreciate the present moment. When you're out there standing on the slope, your eyes meeting the green of the landscape, and you forget about the past, forget about the future. Only the present moment counts. The present moment of serenity, dignity, and peace of mind. And then suddenly you think of the past. A thought overwhelms you. Let it flow away. Let it flow away. And you will find peace by doing that. This whole process of training. A thought comes, arises, stands, goes away. When the thought goes away, you said, oh, it goes away. That's peace. Peace follows. But when it does not go away, suffering follows. You know there's a quicksand right in front of you. You know you're not going to walk into it. That's the quicksand of anxiety, of depression, of fear, of disappointment. You just don't move. I'm in the quicksand, just don't move. And slowly, your own energy will help to get out. Because your own energy, your Buddha nature, is so powerful that the quicksand will melt away by itself. You're free. Because you don't allow all these delusions to overwhelm you. The quicksand is just a delusion. It's not real. The quicksand is not real. You are creating your quicksand and then let yourself sink into it. Only when you discover that the quicksand is delusion and not real, then you will be able to liberate yourself. Otherwise, you cannot. Mindfulness is in everything, you know. Unless you're not mindful. When you are mindful at the cherry tree, that cherry tree is mindful. When you're not mindful of that cherry tree is not mindful either. The response is right there. And that mindfulness has a degree of intelligence and insight too. A merchant who looks at nothing but money is mindful of that cherry tree, but only in terms of greediness, for the profit that he's going to make. It's different. It's the same cherry tree. We're only just giving a brief general outline. Said if you look at right understanding, here is the door to get into the right understanding. You know that door, you know that path. What we know is just that that path exists. We haven't even opened the door of that path. We walk the path of right understanding. We walk, oh, that's the door, the right understanding. We know how to walk onto it, that's the path, but we need to open the door and appreciate the treasures inside. It's immeasurable. It's vastness. We yet have to open every of this door. We just talk about the label that appears on the door. Here is right intention. Here is right understanding. Here's right livelihood. Here's right speech. If you meditate on each of these noble paths, you get your own insight. You get your own treasures. And those treasures will be within you. The treasures that will equip you for liberation, for release from suffering, for emancipation from mental afflictions. So much for today. I only have covered 2 pages of the 8, but it's good enough. We don't have to rush because we appreciate today nature. And for people who are busy bees all the time, wouldn't it be nice for 10-15 minutes to stand in there and listen to the birds, look at the green, look at the trees, and appreciate what Mother Nature has rendered to us. If you have been so busy doing something, you have to ponder, is it worthwhile doing that one thing all the time, so busy doing all the time? Is there anything else? I still remember Thomas Carlyle said, it's not even nothing about, he's just a writer. But he said something that strikes a chord in my mind. And he said, the tragedy of life is not so much what men suffer, but what they missed out. The tragedy of life is not suffering what we missed out. We have the opportunity to be human, reborn as human. If we miss out this opportunity to learn the Buddha's living and be liberated from suffering, we missed out this life. But when I get out there and see and experience, interact with people, a lot of people, they don't care about the opportunity. They don't know about the opportunity. They just go about scurrying their household work, their job, their hunting for their satisfying their cravings, greediness, jealousy, hatred, fear, disappointment. I don't think we're all doing the right thing. We don't want to miss out this opportunity. Otherwise, you'll waste this lifetime. How many more years are we going to live to? Give you another 60 years? If you're 30-year-old now, give you 60 years as 90 years. Is that enough? Or maybe 70 years until you're 100 years old. You still have to die. You still have to die. But don't miss out this opportunity to get nirvana, to get enlightenment, to lead a happy life, to know that you have a chance to get out. Or you don't care, you just breakfast, lunch, work, job, night shift, day shift, making the money, getting the paycheck, enjoying what you think is temporary happiness, or sometimes doing all sorts of things to get what you want, even creating bad karma. That's a choice that you should make. And right now, I can see that everyone in here has that opportunity. That's why you've come. That's why you've come to find out more. You already have a stride, that one first step onto the path. Are you going to continue the next, third? 1,000,000 miles start from the first step out. That's Lao Ji's words. And some people stop up to the third step. There's a saying, a Chinese saying, but I have to translate it. It says, the first time when you're interested in the Buddha's teaching, you're very interested in it, you're deeply involved with it, and Buddha is in your mind, so close to you, in your mind, inside. That's the first year. As you slowly, gradually develop and cultivate, after 3 years, Buddha is not in your mind anymore. It's in the temple. It's so far away. It's in the temple. And after another 5 years, it's not even in the temple. It's in the Pure Land. So it's getting, you think that learning more and more and more, some people getting closer and closer to liberation, some people just work the opposite. When they strike that chord of interest, they come and learn and learn and learn, and then somehow they lose the interest. Mara got into them. They cannot persist. They have no patience. They were overwhelmed by other things, and they give up. No more liberation. Buddha starts from being in the mind to be further and further and further away. I hope it won't happen to you. Endurance is like a cherry blossom.